This is one of the best NBA finals of all time. And Game 6 was like the icing on the cake. I still can't believe what happened. I'm still shocked. I'm still amazed. I'm still feeling what I was feeling when I was in the arena at the game. We've seen it all in this series. We've seen posterizing dunks. We've seen threes. Danny Green setting the NBA Finals record, taking shots from 25, 30 feet with hands in his face, making it splash. We've seen LeBron James block dunks, block layups right at the rim. Mike Miller, the killer, made it splash without a shoe. It's just been unbelievable. And I was lucky enough to witness it with my own eyes, being in the arena with a whole bunch of screaming fans going wild, going crazy. LeBron lost his headband, turned into a madman. The only thing bad about going to these games is that you don't get to hear the announcers because they do a really good job. I actually had to download the games and watch them on my computer just to see what the commentators were saying. They're doing a fantastic job in the NBA Finals. That's the only downside about actually being there. I wonder what the ratings are for this series because I know that Game 6, I know it was just so exciting, too exciting. And the Spurs, they really came out like champions in this game. Tim Duncan, he had 25 points at the half. They were giving it to him in the post almost every time down like he was in his prime. It was scary to watch. And that's what happens when a team is only one win away from winning the NBA championship. I mean, Tim Duncan, he was looking like the Tim Duncan in the finals against the Knicks. He was spinning. Every time they would defend him on one side, he'd spin to the other side, doing hook shots, getting offensive rebounds and ones. He was doing it all, banking it off the glass. Nobody could stop him. Everybody was fouling him. They kept subbing in people, the Birdman, Chris Bosh. And in the arena, everybody was frustrated. A lot of Heat fans, they couldn't take it. Every time Tim Duncan would touch the ball, you hear people saying, help him out. And on top of that, LeBron James was struggling from the field. He had Boris Diaw on him. Diaw was backing up like 5 feet, giving him the mid-range jumper. He wasn't confident in the mid-range jumper. He was forcing drives in the paint. He just wasn't doing anything. And then the fouls, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James were attacking the rim, doing all kind of acrobatic, sexy layups. The whistle was not blowing. But then on the other end, Tony Parker's doing his thing, going to the rim, and he's getting called for fouls. He's getting called for and ones. I remember there was this one possession where Dwayne Wade stole the ball, and then he lost it somehow. It was like he got fouled, he got pushed or something. And then when he lost the ball, at first, everybody on Miami's complaining to the refs, but then they're like, oh, wait. The ball is still in play. Tony Parker picked it up, went in the lane, and somehow they fouled him. I don't know. There was barely any contact, but they fouled him, and it was an and one. That was a huge play. People were so frustrated. And it was funny because in the third quarter, at the 6-minute mark, a lot of Heat fans couldn't take it, and they actually rage quit the game. So if you look at the thumbnail of this video, that is a picture of two of the people that were sitting next to me. They rage quit in the third quarter when the Heat were down by 6. This was before they went down by double digits, but you could see that the momentum was shifting. Miami couldn't do anything. They kept fouling the Spurs. Tim Duncan had an and one. All kind of bad things were happening. So the two people next to me, it was a couple, a man and a woman. They rage quit. They were so bad that they left their shirts. That's how you know they were mad, because they left the shirts. They didn't even take the shirts with them. They couldn't take it anymore. They rage quit the game. But that turned out to be a new move if you saw the game, because the Heat somehow got back into it, and I don't know how they did it, because in the third quarter they went down by double digits. I think the lead was as big as maybe 15 or 17. It wasn't looking good. It was looking like Game 5. It was looking like, what was it, Game 3 or 4, whatever game they got blown out. It was looking like they were going to get blown out on their home floor, like it was 2011 against the Mavericks at home, Game 6. It wasn't looking good. So the people that were next to me, they were the first people to rage quit, and they rage quit early before it really got bad. But when the lead went above 10, people did start leaving. I'd say a few dozen people left the game. And it's funny because one of my friends was at the game. We're not best friends or anything, but we're friends, and they were able to change their seat. in the fourth quarter because people left. They were sitting behind the basket and they were up at like rows 30 or something. And so many people left that they were able to move down to like row 10 or 13 or something like that. That's how bad it was. Heat fans were so mad, they just gave up on the team and they left. And these seats are not cheap. And I was able to reserve tickets for Game 7. And the Game 7 tickets are double the price of what the Game 6 tickets were. The same spot. Isn't that amazing how from one game to another, the price can just skyrocket? I mean, this is crazy. So these seats are not cheap, yet these people just rage quit the game with a full quarter to go. But Miami did a good job. They were able to get the lead back down to 10 to start the fourth. And that's when Miami literally turned up the heat, went on their run to get back in the game. That's why the Heat are so exciting to watch, because even if they're down by a lot, they can just put on a run like that and get back in the game. And that's one of the flaws of the Indiana Pacers. If you remember, in their playoff run, they can't win a game if they go down big. They don't have the ability to score that many points to get back in it like Miami does. They have to be neck and neck, or they have to have the lead all game to win. If they go down by 10 or 15, it could be over for the Pacers. But for the Heat, it's not over. They have a chance to get back in it. And look at that 360 oop by LeBron. Now, this has got to be one of the greatest comebacks ever in NBA Finals history. And the fact that they won the game, it's a miracle. They should not have won the game. It doesn't even make sense how they did it. Yeah, they got back into it and they took the lead, but it looked like they blew it again because the Spurs went on a run. Tony Parker makes that ridiculous step back three, shot clock cheese. I mean, seriously. Tony Parker is not a good three-point shooter. In fact, teams leave him open for three. They do. They sacrifice. They say, we want Tony Parker to shoot the three. But for some reason, when the shot clock is winding down, when it's a clutch moment, Tony Parker is able to make those shots. I mean, he did it against the Grizzlies as well. He made a three with two defenders running at him with the shot clock cheese. In game one of the finals, he made that shot clock cheese shot with LeBron James guarding him. I mean, it's ridiculous the way that Tony Parker is playing in this series. He's like a video game character out there. And that's why even after all the heroics with Miami, Mike Miller making the three without a shoe, LeBron James blocking Tim Duncan's layup, and then scoring on the other, all these plays, they still managed to give the lead back to the San Antonio Spurs. And there was only like 30 seconds left and they're down by 5 desperation threes. So I thought the game was over, and everybody in the arena thought it was over as well, because even though there is a chance for you to get back into it, the possibility of you actually making 2 threes to tie the game or get back into the game, missing free throws, it's just unlikely. But it happened. The rush that we felt when Miami was coming back to take the lead and everything, we were making so much noise. If you were watching it on TV, you'll notice that we were just making noise when nothing was happening. We were just cheering, going crazy the entire time. And when Leonard stepped to the free throw line, it was so loud. I've never been in a place that was that loud before. It was louder than being in a club with bass and everything bumping. It was so loud, my ears, I couldn't hear. Leonard missed the free throw. He left the door open. And then that three by Ray Allen, that's got to be Ray Allen's, that might be Ray Allen's best three of all time. I mean, that was just, from where I was sitting, I wasn't sure if it was a three or not, because I was sitting on the side that he shot it on, and everybody was standing up, so I couldn't see where his feet were when he lifted off. But when it went in, I mean, everyone just went crazy, so I went crazy too. But when they said they had to go review it, I was like, oh, what if his foot was on the line? Because I couldn't see. So when we saw the replay and we saw that it was good, it was just a sigh of relief. I guess I should have known that he would know where to be and where he was standing, because he's Mr. Splash Man. He's Jesus Shuttlesworth. He's been doing that his whole career. It was just amazing. Look at Hakeem going coast to coast. So if the Spurs lose game 7, they're never going to be able to get over this game 6, because this game was over. And there's no way to rig this game. Like, people are saying that the game was rigged. I mean, you can't rig that three by Ray Allen. If Ray Allen misses that three, the series is over. You can't rig that. I mean, you can't rig all the threes that Danny Green was making in the series in all these games. You can't rig it. And when Miami was down by 5, the Spurs bench, they were hype. There were even some Spurs fans in the audience. There were about 15 to 20 of them in this one section. They were going crazy. They brought out the yellow tape. The Spurs were basically celebrating, and everybody in the arena, we felt like it was over. I was getting ready to watch the Spurs celebrate on our home floor, watch Tim Duncan raise it up again, Tony Parker, Greg Popovich. That's what I thought was going to happen. And so when Ray Allen makes that three and it goes into overtime, it was like, wow, we lost the game, but now we're going into overtime. Like, that emotional transition was just, there's no way to prepare for that. Like, it was an explosion when Ray Allen made that splash. That shot clock cheese, it's got to be the T-Mac curse. I think T-Mac has cursed the Spurs, and I think the Heat are going to win in Game 7.